Okay, guys, we're back. This is Port Isabel, the Fingers, part 3. So we put in down at the Fingers, down at Pompano Park, Fingers in Port Isabel. And we're going to go out and we're going to try different spots. There's Cassie getting ready. Taking the bow line off. We're going to get underway. Beautiful morning. Look at that sun coming up. No wind. Beautiful morning. It's probably around, I would say, 9 o'clock. Between 8:30 and 9, I think is what it is right there somewhere. This was probably taken about 2 to 3 years ago was when we went out on this one in this video. So we're going to get into this here in a minute after we get out to the area, and I'll start talking about it because I made some mention of it in a previous video. And we're going to cover it just a little bit more here in this one so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, look at this. Beautiful. Beautiful morning. Just enjoying the ride out. We're in one of those no-wake harbors, so we have to just put out to the where it opens up into the bay. And we're just going to take our time and enjoy the ride here. So, Pompano Park there in Port Isabel, I do like that little boat ramp. The only thing I don't like about it is it drops off real quick. So you got to watch it. If you use that ramp, it's just one little single ramp. It's a small boat ramp and park there. But if you use it, you just got to watch that you don't want to back off too far because it drops real quick. It reminds me of old Sanchez's at Sanchez bait stand. That's how his boat ramps were, even though he had two side by side, but one of them, I think the concrete had flooring had broken on one, so you had to watch. You couldn't go too far because if you did, then it just boom, it would drop right off. Okay, here we are. We're getting out. I see two people off to the port side. They're on their sea-doos, and I'm trying to give them the signal to let them go ahead and go. But then they're telling me that they're going to go off to the left, and I'm going straight out. So that's what I'm doing. I'm telling them go ahead and go, and then that's when they told me, yeah, we're going to the left. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick up, and we're going to take off. So where we're going to go first here, we're going to go first and we're going to go try long bar. In one of my earliest videos, I had a guy. So here's long bar. So this is a picture from 2004, what long bar looks like when you fish this. And then you're going to see in this video what it looked like when I went out to go fish it. But this is an interesting thing. See that? See how you got those little island chains and the grass beds and the little flats right there? Pretty cool, huh? But look what it looks like when I went out there in this video. Completely different. So when I was talking about it, about how change on the Lower Laguna Madre, this is a perfect example. Now take a look at it here. Look at this. Now I'm fishing long bar. You see any type of resemblance in that satellite photo from 2004? This is like 2022, 2023 when I was out there. There is so much water in the bay, like what I talked about in that video about change on the Lower Laguna Madre. This is a prime example right here. How I was right there at long bar and I was just floating over the top of it. It was all underwater. So right off the bat, we caught a 14-inch trout, and that's pretty much what we caught most of the time, all day. Out there, I didn't put them all in the video. I just put a few in there because, it'd be hours upon hours. I try to shave it down from a 4-hour drift. I try to keep the videos right at between 45 minutes and an hour when I'm on the water. I don't want to try to get over that. So, yeah, but we caught a lot of those that day. A lot of 14s and 14s and a half out there on long bar. And a few keepers too, which you're going to see here in a little bit. But, yeah, beautiful little trout. Look at that. But he's too small. He's got to go back. He's only 14 inches. And all we're doing is we're just doing the basics. We're We got that. I don't think it's the Back Bay Thunder. I think what I have on there is that that Extreme Popper, because I don't think I could get any Back Bay Thunder, so that's the cable one instead of the wire like I normally like, and that's what we're using with a number 4 treble hook and live shrimp. And I got my 8.5 offshore extreme inshore rod, and I got my I think it's a 260 slammer pin is what I'm using there. So here we go again. Let's see what we got here. Now that one's a keeper. Look at that trout. I think that one was about 18 inches. Cassie barked him right up into the boat. Cassie on her game. So on this trip, where we catch fish, but we don't catch anything, you know, really super big. I'm just trying different spots, and we're catching fish. I mean, but there aren't no big massive reds in this one. We do catch reds when we try other spots there, but they're not super huge like what you normally see in my other videos. But we're just out because we try different spots. This is long bar. And like I was saying, is in one of my earliest videos, I had a subscriber that was asking for a request to do a video on long bar. Well, this is my issue with long bar, is it's not like it used to be where it was out of the water and you could see everything and you could fish around the sides and up and down it and all that and work the edges, because we have so much water in the bay. It's almost completely pretty much underwater, and I just drift right over it. So that's why I just want to reiterate and hammer home about how things have changed here on the Lower Laguna Madre. I mean, and that picture that you saw, a satellite picture, that's from 2004. So that's what, 18 years, about 18 years later, and there's a lot more water in the bay. That's all I'm saying. Beautiful trout. Look at that. Beautiful trout. I think he was the biggest trout of the whole day. The rest of them, I think, were all 14 and 14 and a half, if I recall here in this video. Then we do catch a few reds, and nothing really, you know, to write home about. A bunch of small reds, and then I think a keeper or two. But all in all, overall, it was a good day because, I mean, we caught fish. I think I ended up with my limit on trout that day because I was out of fish. So I took my 3 because that's when they had changed it. That was right after the freeze. So it was just, you could only take 3, and I think it was between 17 and I want to say 20. I think was what the sizes were that year. Because this was the same year that we had that big freeze, when all the power went out and stuff for a week, 2 weeks, or whatever it was. So whatever year that was, 2022? I think this is 2022. Wait, Cassie barking them up. I think Cassie, she barks up some hardheads. She barks, in this one, she barks up hardheads, trout, skipjacks, and reds. She's just barking up all kinds of stuff that day. That there is a hardhead. You can see, you know how you can tell before it even gets to the boat? Because your pole's pulling down. The ones that, when they tug down like that, it's a hardhead or a stingray. You know, a game fish doesn't tug down like that. A game fish runs. But when you feel it tugging and trying to go down, you automatically know you're going to have a hardhead on that end by the time you get it up to the boat. There's a little FYI. So this is how I like to handle them. You see how I do that? I grab it on the head and back behind those 2 side fins, and then the dorsal fin in front of my hand. That way you don't get stuck by them, and you can take the hook off real easy and just toss them right back, and you don't get stuck by them. But if you've ever been stuck by one of those bad boys, you know what I'm talking about, man. It doesn't feel good. Easy to handle them that way. It doesn't matter what size the hardhead is. All right, so let's see here. We're still there at long bar. So we're trying it out. I want to say that day it was a high tide, but still there was already a lot of water in the bay. I probably went at a changing of a tide from low tide to high tide. You know, I think we went to go try to hit. I think we missed the. I think the major bite was later in the afternoon. I want to say in the morning it was a minor bite, and then around probably 2 o'clock that day it was going to be the major bite, 2 or 3 or something like that. There we go. What is it? Another hardhead or a skipjack? Let's see what we got. Gaff top. And you've heard me talk about it before. If you're going to eat any saltwater catfish, that's the one to eat right there, gaff top. But he's too small. I can't keep him. I think the minimum is either 14 to 16. I don't recall right off the hand because I haven't kept one in a while. But when you're down there on the island, around the island, and fishing in the bay out there, you know, just in front of the island, there's a lot of gaff tops there in that area. I think the biggest one I've ever caught out of there is about 23, 24 inches. But if you like catfish, that'd be the only saltwater catfish I'd eat right there, would be the gaff top. There we go. Wind's picking up a little bit. As you can see, we're getting a little, the boat's rocking. I got the drift sock out now, finally, to slow us down. We're probably fishing in, I want to say, I normally fish shallow water. You know what I mean? Usually inches, you know, like usually on average 18 to 20 inches is usually what I fish in. And a little bit less than that. But here, this is out in the big open bay in front of South Padre Island. So you're talking the water level there is probably anywhere between 8 to 10 feet that I'm fishing in. That's why the boat's rocking so much. Because when the small swells come by, it rocks the boat. But the water's pretty deep there. Normally deeper than what I normally fish in. Because if you notice, if you look at that's a skipjack. So Cassie barked up a nice little skipjack there. If you look at my leader, look how long it is. I'm fishing about 3 feet deep, and I usually don't fish that deep. But it's that trout green water, and like I said, we caught a lot of trout that day. But like I said, the majority of them were they're undersized. They were 14s and 14s and a halves. And actually, you couldn't even keep those anyway then because they had already changed the size. The minimum I think was 17. You had to have 17. Was the minimum. It was 17 to 20, I think it was. Or 17 to 23, I think, that year. And nothing over 23 you could keep. But sun's coming up. Beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful sunrise. So yeah, I think in this video we try long bar. We try marker 57. I think we go into Cullins Bay, and then we go east of Cullins Bay there on the other side of 3 Islands. Or no, maybe we just stay in Cullins Bay. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it plays out. But I do know we started at Long Bar. That's where we started. And then we went north is what we did. From Long Bar, we went to marker 57. Got you barking them up. Trying to get that mojo going. Another little one. See, we caught a lot of those little trouts that weren't keepers that day. I only put a few in the video because if I would have put them all in, this video would be 3 hours long. You know. But those little trout out there, boy, they were hitting it left and right. Those little specks. They were hitting that shrimp. But yeah, that's on average what they were. 14s, 14s and a halves. You know. So. But yeah, it was a beautiful day. Just look at that sun, guys. Beautiful. Not too much wind. As you can see right there, I don't have the drift sock out again, so I pulled it back in. because, you know, the wind would come a little bit and then it would just be like a dead calm. And I figured that'd be a good day to fish the deeper water and the lower Laguna Madre Bay in front of Padre Island. On a calm day like that, to try it out and see. But, you know, pretty interesting. What else here? So, yeah. That's where it sits. All right, so this here's marker 57. We're fishing right off of marker 57 and in that marker 57 area, which is just right north, or I shouldn't say north. It's right south of Cullins Bay. Cullins House, Cullins Point, South Cullins Bay, all that kind of stuff. I used to fish this area a lot at night back in the day in my Dargle. And I used to catch tons of big reds out here. Big reds, big drum. So here we are. We're in the channel. I think we're in the channel now. Or we're close to it. Because if you look up on the port side front there, that's going to be Cullins Bay coming up. And Cullins Point right there. And then you can go in and go into Cullins Bay. You can't see South Cullins Bay because it's out of the camera view behind me. But we're right off of the channel. We're skirting that edge along that peninsula. And then I think we go into, see, there's the channel, there's the ball, there's the marker. And then we're going to turn in to go into Cullins Bay, I believe. Is what we do. And I think that's where we finish out the afternoon. On this trip here. We finish it in Cullins Bay. Well, look at that. Beautiful day. Beautiful sunny day. And all I'm doing is looking for any signs, and I don't see a lot of stuff really moving. So we're just going to cruise along, and then we're just going to roll up in there and into Cullins Bay, and we're going to stop and try it there. Because I usually like working this edge all along this peninsula here. Usually it's pretty good for trout and for reds, but I didn't see a lot of movement that day. As you can see, there's the entrance right there. We're going to make the turn. We're starting to make the turn to go in to the little inlet into Cullins Bay. There's Cullins House off in the distance there. On the port front side of the boat. And this is a good spot, like at night and stuff, if you want to sit off there, because those reds run back and forth in between here, in and out of Cullins Bay and back into the channel. Off these points, man, would be a good place to fish and fish on bottom. You could do really well, man. I used to do that a lot at night too. Fish these cuts. All right, so now we're in Cullins Bay. Off to the left, to the port side, that's South Cullins Bay. And then this is Cullins Bay, and then North Cullins Bay. You see where the island is out there? That's on the north side of that is where North Cullins Bay is. And it looks like the tide was already changing. The water's starting to go out. It doesn't look like it's that deep there. So that's telling me, I guess I was fishing from a high tide to a low tide when I went out, instead of what I said earlier, that it was from a low tide to a high tide. Because just by looking at that, I can see the water's real shallow. So that's telling me it's low tide. So this trip was the changing of the tide from high to low when we went out to go try it. A lot of good areas there. You see all those little potholes grass, a lot of structure in this bay, man. A lot of structure. And I'm just looking for signs for stuff moving. That's all we're doing. We're scouting it. Cassie's right there in her little favorite spot on the side of the console, sitting there while the boat's moving on the starboard side. Oh, she's going to get up and walk around because I'm stopping. That's why. As you can see, water's pretty shallow, man. It was probably about 14, 15 inches we were fishing in right there. Pretty shallow. And that island right there off to the starboard side, that is one of the 3 islands. We're right up against one of those banks. And then we're going to drift out from it. And in here too, I don't know if it's in the video, but I do use my trolling motor to troll around because it's so shallow. I picked the skeg up of the regular motor and I break out my trolling motor and I do troll around. There might be some still shots. I don't know if there's any video of that in here, but there should be still shots in this one. But off in the distance there, that clump of trees, that's Cullins' house and Cullins Point on the end of the peninsula. And the water's crystal clear there. Just like you'd find in the grass flats behind Bird Island, Green Island. It's got really good clarity. And I think we produced some reds. I think Cassie barks up reds here. They're not real big. I think the biggest one's like 19 inches. As you can see right there. But you see I have my bomber style popping cork on there. Not my regular back bay thunder. The cable style one instead of the wire one. So they work okay too. Beautiful little red there. So I got one on there, and let's pull him out. That's the one that you saw on the video. Now I'm sure for some reason I mixed it up here. I should have played this part first, and then the part where you're seeing the red swimming in the water. I usually do a picture within a picture of it, but for some reason I didn't do that on this video. But that's what I'm doing. I'm filming that red that you just saw right now, right before this segment. This is another good spot here, man. A lot of reds in this area too, man, when they're in that area. The little islands and stuff back in there, you know. And you work all along that edge. As you bargaining up. Little red, nice little red there. Now look at that beautiful cloud cover. Low, the clusters, beautiful. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed when you look at clouds, no two clouds are the same. They're all different. I don't know if you guys have ever taken the time to look at that, because I've seen plenty of clouds out there on the lower Laguna Madre, and none of them are the same. Look at that beautiful little red. Nice bronze color. Starting to get that bronze, that deep bronze tan. He's working on it. He is working on it. But he's just undersized. I think he was like 19 inches. So he was 18, 19, something like that. So we got to put him back. Cassie give him a lick, and he goes back in to grow bigger. Catch him some other day. And see, this is a low tide, so you can see right here in this spot, there's still a lot of water, man. So like I said, you know, in that previous video about how it's changed down here, out here on the lower Laguna Madre. Way back in the day, you know, a low tide was a high tide back then. The water was even a lot lower than what you see now. So yeah. So I was still in Cullins Bay, so I was thinking we were on the other side, but that pole's telling me we're still in Cullins Bay. There. And let's see if we go to the other side here. I thought we fished on the southern tip of 3 islands. But let's take a look and see. Maybe not. But those are the marker poles for the little channel, the little gut channel that shoots in from the intercoastal to Cullins House on Cullins Point. That's what those poles are that you keep seeing that I'm passing. It lets you know how to line up. Because it does get real shallow there, man. If you don't got a shallow running boat, you'll run aground pretty quick. Yeah. So we're heading back out. So let's see if we go on the other side. But at night, this is a good spot at night, right there off of those points right there. You just anchor off, man, and cast, because those reds run back and forth, and those drum, especially reds, a lot of reds, man. It's a good area for reds. I used to do that in my old Dargo all the time. The old 170 Scout. But like I said, there was nothing spectacular on this one. We caught a few keeper trout, 3 of them. Reds, I want to say I had 1 or 2 that we kept, and the rest were we let go because they were undersized. But they were just on the slot, right on the slot, and just a little bit over the lower end slot that we caught that day. Cassie's sitting in front of the console there, hanging on while we're riding. We'll see how Rusty takes to it once we get the boat back in the water. Cassie loved out riding in the boat. Hopefully Rusty takes to it just like Cassie did. But yeah, beautiful. Look at that. I love fishing in the flats. Just the freedom. Nothing but water before me. And just to go out and scout it out, investigate, and find different places, see where we can chase those reds down. Wide open grass flats on the lower Laguna Madre. Just the ride alone was worth it. But see all that structure? Potholes, grass, potholes, grass. That's prime red. Prime place to catch redfish at. But yeah, guys. So this is my fingers part 3, long bar, marker 57, and I guess Cullins Bay is what it looks like. I'm not sure if we stop again here or not. We have to see. Or if I'm just heading back to the island. It looks like I'm just heading back to the island, running through the flats. That's what it looks like. And you have to see in the stills what we caught. But yeah. And Cassie hanging on there. Yeah, Cassie's going to be missed. She is sorely missed. So I don't know. Maybe it looks like I'm turning, so maybe I'm going to stop and we're going to drift. That's what it looks like. Looks like I was heading out and then making a curve, and we're going to drift back into the shoreline there. Let's see. But yeah, that's what it looks like we're doing. So it looks like the water got a little bit deeper. Well, I guess we don't show where we stopped because that was right there on the south side of Three Islands, but on the east side of it. Now this is heading back to the island because you can see the high rises there, the hotels and stuff off in the distance on the horizon. So I guess I didn't show what we caught there, but we caught a couple of reds there. They weren't anything big. They were, I think, one was 20, and there might have been a 20 and a half or something like that. But yeah, I guess that's it for the trip. Wow. Okay. Not a lot of meat on this one, guys, but like I said, I'm just commentating on all these videos as they come up. I'm just going through them all. But yeah, now this here, we're heading back to the island because I can see it off in the distance there. And that's what we're doing. We're heading back to Port Isabel. So yeah, see, sun's going down. And I'm probably just talking about what we did. It was a good day, probably. I know we caught fish that day. I think I kept 3 trout, and I want to say 2 reds is what I kept. The trout were between 17 and 18, and the reds, I believe, were 20 and a little bit over, I don't think fully 21, but like 20 and a half. So anyway, we're going to cut it off here. And one of these days, Rusty and me will see you guys out drift fishing on the Lower Laguna Madre. Y'all have a good day. Thank you for watching.
If you think you're good, big shot, go, Think you're big shot, huh? Yeah, you think you're big shot, huh? Go. I won't stop you, go. Top, huh? Think you're top?